you miss greatest football, possibly greatest football match of all time, but definitely the best World Cup finals or best game in the World Cup ever.
Right? So, well, this is your opportunity to close. I mean, Argentina, how you felt, when they went 2 up, when it did the end of the first half.
Listen, I was not one of them who was like, yeah, this game done. Nope. And to be fair, or to be honest, people who felt that, like, I don't know, you can't really be an Argentina fan and feel that. Because if you were watching Argentina throughout this competition, you would know a 2-0 lead, not safe, especially against France, bro. Like, they nearly gave up a two-goal lead against Australia. They gave up a 2-goal lead against Holland. You understand what I'm saying? So why France? When they went to the break and, because on CNC3 they have the panel doing the discussions at halftime, and Jan Michael, the former goalkeeper and former national goalkeepers, no, I don't see any way back for France at all. Honestly, I think this game is over. I was like, what kind of shit you telling me? And he say, well, how Argentina he mentioned the fact that they had three clean sheets throughout the tournament, and that is bring on Lisandro Martinez to kind of shore up the defense when the time running out. Those 3 clean sheets were against Croatia, Poland, and Mexico. But they lost goals to Saudi Arabia, Australia, and the Netherlands in the other 3 games. And in almost all of those games, Argentina's performance always continued to drop in the second half, and especially late on in the second half. In all their games, all except the Mexico game, they were leading at halftime. Right? And so all the goals that were scored against them come in the second half. Remember, Saudi Arabia, they scored in the first half. Saudi Arabia came and capsized them second half. The game against Mexico, they won 2-0. Those 2 goals came in the second half. But the game against Poland, they scored 1 in the first half. They scored the second one in the second half. The game against the Netherlands, they scored 1 in the first half, 1 in the second half. Australia, 1 in the first half, 1 in the second half. And then Australia came and took a last-minute save to prevent that game from going into extra time. Because it was 2-0. Australia got 1 out of nowhere. And then Argentina just completely collapsed, right? And it was just Australia ponging the goal and coming this close to equalizing. Then they play Holland and they went up 2-0 again. And because of what happened against Australia, I was watching that game with my brother-in-law, and the 2 of us knew, we just saw them almost lose a 2-goal lead to Australia. This is Holland, bro. So when you see 2 goals, no, this is not done yet. You know what I mean? And so said, so done. Holland came back and got 2, and that took that game to extra time. Yes, against Croatia, they got the 3rd goal. They were leading 2-0 again, and they got the 3rd goal and kill off the game. But it's France, bro. Now, what I would say is that the only difference with France is that France was playing a level of shit that not even them other teams, even Holland wasn't playing that badly. Australia wasn't playing as badly as France were playing. So
in the first half or in the whole game, you would say?
Well, France was shit up until they scored. People will pretend as if they worked their way back in the game, but in reality, as a lot of people giving them credit for, as I say, working their way back into the game, but in reality, it was only a mistake from Argentina that gave them the penalty, meaning Otamendi should have cleared the fucking ball. He didn't clear the ball, and he let it bounce, and then Thuram got on the inside of him and he brought him down in the box, right? Boom, and they get a penalty. And the second goal came right after that. It was a minute and a half after the second goal came. But prior to that, France was just playing shit. And Argentina got tired, and Scaloni refused to make any substitutions. He took off Di Maria because Di Maria was basically running on one leg. He took him off, but he made no other substitutions. Because what changed the game essentially is that France has the better athletes. Bigger, stronger, faster players. Argentina was dominating the game by dominating the midfield and keeping the ball away from them, passing the ball around. But eventually, once they got tired, the passes got, they weren't as crisp. Players stopped trying to pass off the ball quickly because they're tired now. So they're trying to hold off and shield the ball, and the French players just running them off the ball. And the referee was allowing a lot of physical play. So the Argentines kept trying to screen the ball, and the French players would just body them off, and the Argentines would fall along looking at the ref like thinking and the ref like, nah, get up and play. Get up. But once the body got tired and the brains got tired, it just became harder and harder. And then he brought on Kingsley Coman, meaning the French manager brought on Kingsley Coman, and that was just a little bit too much speed for them to deal with. And they started to, you could see the game starting to change a little bit, but it would have ground out. They would have ground out that result if Otamendi didn't make that stupid mistake. And then once France got the penalty, and then a minute and a half later, Mbappe scored a wicked volley. And then that was that. And then it was chaos after that. It was just complete chaos after that. But you had seen Argentina capitulate before. So for anybody who had been watching the World Cup, who supposedly know anything about football, this and say, nah, boy, France, no way back. Oh, see what you're talking about? A team, the only team that was more talented on paper than France, it was Brazil, and they're home. So you're telling me you think that team can't turn this around at all? Come now, man. But France played real shit in the first half and for most of the second half too. Even after he brought on Kolo Muani and Lilian Thuram, not Lilian Thuram, their father, the younger Thuram who playing for France now. Can't remember his name. He brought the two of them on in the 40th minute, right? And people say, oh, that was the substitution changed the game, but it didn't really change the game because the second half started off and for about the first 15, 20 minutes of the second half, the commentators all kept saying, well, we're just not seeing any chance of a revival from France. The game continued in the way it was going. But Argentina's players got tired. And it seems like that is really what is the cause of all of their problems. Like, they're just not fit. And they expend so much energy trying to control the game in the first half and I don't know why. I cannot. Now, people say he was keeping them on to shoot penalties in case it went to penalties. But in the extra time, he took off McAllister. He took off what do you call him? Why names flying out of my head like that this evening? But Rodrigo de Paul. He took off Rodrigo de Paul, he took off McAllister, and I think he also took off who else was in the midfield there, boy? But he made those two substitutions for sure. And those two were the midfielders who were doing the most shit in the late. Well, he took them both off in extra time. But they were the ones who were clearly tired in the 90 minutes in regulation time. He didn't take them off. And if you were leaving them on for penalties, then why take them off in extra time? You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know why he couldn't see that, the midfield needed refreshing and he needed to bring on different players to shore up the results, but he left them out there to just get run over. The second goal that France scored, Kingsley Coman basically came and just body Messi off the ball. Just Messi was trying to slow the game down. And he just came and no, give me the ball. He just barged him off the ball and took it and ran. And that was that. 1-2 flip with Mbappe. I think it was Mbappe and might have been Thuram. I think it was Mbappe and Thuram. I can't remember who he played the 1-2 with. And ball up in the end, volley, whap. That man hit that ball real hard, bro. Because on the replay, you're seeing Emi Martinez get a good palm, not even just a fingertip. You see the ball hit his palm flush. And still went in the goal, bro. Still went in the goal. That volley was wicked, though. That volley was wicked. But Mbappe, up until the penalty, was non-existent. He was non-existent. He had one shot and he wasn't even on target prior to that. And that was that. Because Argentina did such a good job of keeping the ball away from him.
Oh, so is it that they lock him down well? And
it wasn't even lock him down, they kept him quiet by keeping the ball away from him. He didn't have very many touches on the ball. When France made the change of taking off Giroud and Dembele, they moved him from the wide position to the middle because nothing was happening wide. Because that's what France really wants to do. They want to isolate him on the wing so he could run past whoever is there. But remember, I kept telling you, if Argentina has to make sure and not concede first, because if they concede first, then you're playing straight into France's hand now. Because all France wants to do is for you to attack and for them to leave Mbappe Lyman on the wing. So every time they release the ball, he's just running at whoever is the right back for Argentina and just tearing them to shreds. And the funny thing is how Di Maria won his penalty is exactly what they wanted Mbappe to be doing on that, but he wasn't able to do it because Argentina just squeezed them in the midfield and kept the ball. And so every time he won the ball, he was in a position on the field where he could not find space in behind to run past. And he tried playing 1-2s and to get that kind of a ability to run in behind in the spaces. But because the Argentine defense and midfield were so close together, when they play them 1-2s, they're just gobbling it up.
So the thing is it that France played shit or Argentina just had the remedy for their
well,
system?
I think it's a bit of both. I think they didn't expect, first of all, they didn't expect Di Maria to be playing on the left side in the way that he did. They probably didn't expect him to start. I knew he was going to start it because the fact that he didn't bring him on in the Croatia game when they were up 3-0 and he brought on all the other players who hadn't, like Dybala and them, who hadn't really got to show them anything during the tournament. I just had a feeling like he was giving Di Maria extra, all right, cool, because he'd nursed an injury, right?
Yeah.
So, we don't need you now, but I want to release you in the finals. I didn't expect him to play him on the left though. But coming to think of it, it made sense because if he played him on the right, then you would have negated the point of having him on the field in the first place because then he would have to be coming back to help Mark Mbappe. And you don't want him playing defense, you want him doing exactly what he was doing, which was being isolated on the left side and terrorizing Jules Koundé. And in the end, he terrorized Dembele, who came back because Dembele couldn't make a note on his wing. He had to come back and help because Di Maria was... And as a Barca fan, there's a side note, I hope Xavi watched that finals because Barca has this ridiculous idea that, hey, we don't need to buy a proper right back, man. We could just push Jules Koundé out on the right day and, and he could serve because he's a centre back really, but we could use him as a right back. I hope you watch that finals and watch... Because Di Maria isn't the quickest player anymore because he has some age. He has some age and he's been toting injuries. And dog, he cooked Jules Koundé, dog. Cooked him over and over and over. And he cooked Dembele and cut in and then Dembele. It was a soft penalty, yes, but it was a penalty because in the modern day, once you cut across the player like that, because even the France penalty was the same thing. Otamendi didn't really bring down Thuram. Otamendi is like this tall and Thuram is up here. He couldn't really bring him down. But Thuram felt his arm wanted to pull him back and he just went down. So it's the same thing with the Argentina penalty. But the point is, Di Maria cooked them on that right-hand side and they just didn't have an answer for that. And because Argentina played with 4 in the midfield and France played with 3 in the midfield and one of them midfielders don't want to run, which is Griezmann. So they couldn't get a hold of the ball. They couldn't get a hold of the ball at all. And they created situations where they could double up on Theo Hernandez, who was playing left back for France. So he was getting terrorized by both Messi and Rodrigo de Paul, who kept forming these little tiny triangles with McAllister, who would come across and pass around Theo Hernandez. And then Di Maria was on the other side, isolated one-on-one and just tearing them fellas to shreds, bro. That man breed men about 4 times, dog. Jules Koundé look real regular in that game. So, but also I think France didn't have any intensity at all. It may be that they were surprised at what Argentina was doing.
Because the thing is, when I heard that he took off Dembele and Giroud, I think it's because the coach went into the game thinking, obviously, this is the
lineup,
the best lineup, right?
Yeah.
In this situation. And then realized, wait, boy, this is not what I expected.
Yes.
And he had to say, well, all right, let me shift. But let me be real. Not every time you make that change, at that point in time, you're going to get it right.
Yes. Now, Now, I think in the end, bringing on faster, because the problem with Giroud is that Giroud he requires service. So if France don't have the ball, then he's completely useless, right? And in terms of what the Argentina centre-backs want to defend, Otamendi and Romero, they want a guy like Giroud. Because although Giroud is good and he's pop up and get goals or whatever, but if you're a defender, he's not going to get fits because he's not very fast. And the problem would be when balls are coming into the box constantly. But once balls ain't coming into the box and his movement is not fast enough to create spaces and whatever. So the Argentine centre-backs were very comfortable defending against him. The idea was put Mbappe in the middle now, and now is a different story because now they're very concerned with his speed, and if a ball go over the top, he could just run in behind him or whatever. But again, none of that made any difference because France wasn't getting the foot on the ball. They wouldn't get any ball. And you can't score if you don't have the ball. You can't create any kind of problems if you don't have the ball. And I think they were always going to run into that problem playing with the midfielder they were playing with. Because even when they made the switch, bro, even when they took Griezmann off in the second half and brought on Camavinga. Now, Camavinga ended up having an impact on the game, but really only because Argentina was tired. But the fact that he was running more than Griezmann was running, because Rabiot and Tchouaméni, they couldn't get a hold of the ball in the first half because it's four Argentine midfielders just passing around them and Griezmann is just standing up watching. He's just basically watching them getting overrun in the midfield. Now, Camavinga came on and he gave a little bit more effort and a little bit more running. But again, if Argentina were possessing the ball as well as they were in the first half, it wouldn't make a difference. But they got tired. And that's how France got itself back in the game.
No, I don't know what the altitudes and there might be the difference in altitudes. I think that might have a part to play in it, right?
No, I just think they're not fit. They're not good athletes. You know, when I say good athletes, they're not that's not the focus of their football.
Right.
The football is
skill and tactics.
Skill and technical ability and thing, right? They're just not good athletes. And I think throughout this tournament, they kept coming up against teams that had better. Croatia was the only one where they didn't have better athletes than them. And you see how Croatia never looked like they had a chance in that game. Ever, ever, ever. And it's because when things were going bad against Australia, they started lumping the ball into the box far more often. And they have bigger, stronger players than Argentina and it caused problems. But they only got one back from a header. When Holland was getting problems, what they did? They brought on the lampposts and they put them in front there and they gave Argentina fits again. Again in this French game, what gave Argentina a problem? They couldn't deal with the physicality, how big and strong and fast the French players were. That is when they have a problem. But other than that, if it was just plain football, nobody was getting it. Even Saudi Arabia gave them fits because once Saudi Arabia turned that dial up and started we're going to press all the high up the field, win the ball, body off the ball. Argentina wasn't ready for that. So I think it's just they need to work on the fitness. They need to work on getting no, I don't know. Argentina seems to only ever produce tiny players. Walter Samuel maybe being
because I have very little black in there now.
And that may be why they don't have great athletes. They don't have that because to be fair, all the Frenchmen that came on that was running men ragged were black fellas. They brought on Camavinga in place of Griezmann. They brought on Thuram in place of Giroud. Dembele, we know Dembele, but he was playing real shit though. He was real because the thing is, and to be fair to him, he is being called on to defend and he can't defend, and he got exposed by Di Maria, and that was that. So that was his problem. But he's fast, but he's not strong. But that Kolomoani fella boy, bro, that man looked like Usain Bolt on that side with a bit of Brock Lesnar in him. I see that man just bodying men off. They had a point in time, I think it was McAllister. He had the ball at his feet and he was about to turn and McAllister come to block him off from that angle. And that man just put his arm out like this And was McAllister looking like a little child struggling. And he not even looking like he bothered. He just like surveying, trying to figure out where to pass the ball. And McAllister fighting up like a kid. It's because that man real strong, dog. That man real strong. But it was a ridiculous game, bro. A ridiculous game. But in the end, if Argentina didn't win, that would have been a travesty. After playing, they played France off the park for 75 minutes. It was just one team in it. It wasn't. I mean, I didn't expect it to be so easy, even for 75 minutes.
Yeah.
So if France had come back and do a smash and grab and win that, that'd have been a travesty.
Well, it would have been a travesty for you, but for the France supporters, that would have been the greatest thing in the world for them.
But but I mean, it would be a travesty for football. When I say, because even if you win, that's not how you should win a game. You know what I mean? Because people comparing it to like, when I was talking to that partner, man, he's like, yeah, but it was kind of like the 1999 finals between Manchester United and Bayern Munich now in the Champions League.
Yeah, that is when Manchester come and scored the two goals.
2 goals in the last few minutes, right? But the thing is Bayern Munich were in control of the game, but Manchester United weren't playing shit. It's just Bayern Munich were in control of the game they scored early and they were in control of the game for nearly the whole game. And then, those 2 goals came in. But it wasn't like Manchester United was just like asleep for 90 minutes. No, they were playing. It's just Bayern Munich was in control. France was playing shit, bro. Like, France were not, when I say they were playing shit, whether it was a result of them or Argentina. But the point is, Argentina were looking like the Harlem Globetrotters playing against the Generals, the Washington Generals, right? That's what it looked like for 75 minutes. So if France had come and just won with that smash and grab thing, I think it would have been a travesty for football. Now, obviously, French fans would be happy, but, I think it was a travesty. It would have been a travesty for football.